So what inspired you to adapt this particular story that's been redone a lot of times, and how did you approach it?
Well, I think I was drawn to it because it is one of those stories that is done again and again and again and is reinvented by every generation, you know, for the last several hundred years. And that strikes me as meaning that it must have some core relevance to the human condition, not to sound too pompous. And I think it does. I think it's about the most primary emotion we have, you know, first love taking over every other consideration. As for how we approached it, we wanted a version that would be accessible and understandable by a modern generation, but would still be Shakespearean, would still give them a sense of Shakespeare's language and the great speeches and you know, the particularly beautiful lines that this play has. And so that was our double challenge, really, was to kind of contract it, because it's a 3.5-hour play, and to deliver it to a new generation, but still leaving an original flavor in it.
Being such a classic tragedy, did you run into any roadblocks during the adapting process?
Sorry, what was it?
Because it's such a classic tragedy, did you have any problems like adapting it?
Well, life is a problem. And all of work is a series of problems that you try to overcome, really. And, you know, you're weighing up, if we lose this scene, what do we lose? And how can we save that good bit and maybe amalgamate it with this scene? So all the time, it's like a kind of Chinese puzzle. You're moving this bit and then that bit and then moving that bit. But I was pleased with the eventual result. I mean, I think it tells the story well and clearly, and yet I don't think we've lost, you know, it's rather daring to say this, and no doubt someone will give me a crack on the head from the Folger Library, but I don't think we've lost any of the golden moments of the play. I think we've kept them all, and yet we've told it in a more linear and more sort of graspable fashion.
When you read the story and when you written it, did you find that you related to any of the characters?
Well, I relate to all of them. I mean, you know, part of you is Juliet wanting to do what she wants, and the other part is Lord Capulet saying, "You're my child, you've got to do as I say." And I think one is also Romeo. I mean, if you remember that moment when love in your life is everything and you have no other consideration and you have to put the interests of that love above everything. You know, we've all been through it. And you know, I think you do connect with all of them. And that's what makes it so moving. There are no bad guys in this story. Even Paris, you know, what did he do wrong? You know, he came along with a perfectly honorable offer and he ends up dead on the steps of the tomb. I mean, it's a tough story, but I think the fact there are no bad guys is very important, actually, that everyone's point of view is sustainable.
And one last question. What do you hope the younger audiences learn from watching this film?
Well, you know, in a sort of broader sense, I hope they feel not alone in going through what most of them are going through, which is being in love with someone who, you know, there's some difficulty, they don't love back, or, you know, whatever it is. And the fact is, this is a part of your life we all have to go through. And I think this story tells them that. But my other goal is that if they enjoy this and it makes them curious about the original play, and maybe they go and see a version of the original play, and we've sort of got them over that bridge so that they don't see Shakespeare as some kind of school thing that you then never look at again, then, you know, I'd be very thrilled by that. I hope that happens.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you.